Have you ever been really, really excited about something and then it turns out differently? Or have you been like, oh, like resistance deluxe, not wanting something to happen that has just happened, and then somehow it turns out to be a blessing in disguise? Peace, eternal love, flying high once again. Ralph Smart tribute, for those of you who know him. I used to listen to his videos many years ago, and sometimes even now. Today is the 9th, and I will share an amazing story with you from Taoism. There's a story about a Chinese farmer. He has a son and he has a horse. One day the horse runs away. It escapes and it's gone. So the people of the village go up to this Chinese farmer and say, "Oh my God, that's so troublesome. Oh, what an unfortunate event." And the Chinese farmer says, "Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell." After a few weeks, the horse actually returns, and this time it has brought 7 wild horses. And the people of the village come up to the farmer and say, "Oh my God, you're so lucky. How amazingly fortunate. Now you have potentially 8 horses." And the Chinese farmer answered, "Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell." The next day, the farmer's son goes out and tries to tame one of the wild horses. He jumps on its back and rides it, but it's a wild horse, and he throws him off the back. He lands and he breaks his leg, which makes him unable to do any work and to tend to the horses. And the villagers come to the Chinese father and say, "Oh no, what an unfortunate event. Your son fell off the horse and his leg has broken. Oh, too bad." And the Chinese farmer answers, "Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell." The next day, and I know this story progresses quite fast, the next day the Chinese army comes into town. There's a war breaking out in the eastern part of the country, and they will recruit all of the young men. So they take all of the villagers, young men, and prepare them to go out to war. But this Chinese farmer's son, he has a broken leg, so they can't take him. So he's the only one left there. All of the other parents of the sons who are going out to war comes up to the Chinese farmer once again, and they say, "Wow, you are so lucky. Your son wasn't taken out to war because he has a broken leg. Now you get to have him throughout this tumultuous time." And the Chinese farmer and father says, "Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell if this is a good scenario." And this is literally a never-ending story, and you can build upon it after it. You may have heard the amazing teachers like Alan Watts, or even teachers like Kevin Mark Trudeau tell this story. And it illuminates an amazing point if you would like to have more harmony, more peace, ease, and flow in your life. Have you ever been really, really excited about something and then it turns out differently? Or have you been like, oh, like resistance deluxe, not wanting something to happen that has just happened, and then somehow it turns out to be a blessing in disguise? I'm sure we all have had those experiences. I certainly have. There are also scenarios where good things potentially happen and we project our ideas into the future and we think this must be a good scenario. But the truth is, you don't really know. What is never good. It is never bad. It is what it is. That is how the duality of this world works. It is a clean slate that has all colors represented. You have dark, you have light, you have white, you have black. You have the entire color spectrum, and not even that. You have the rainbow. You have red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, blue, indigo, purple, or violet. But you also have even colors outside that spectrum that we do not perceive with our regular sensory apparatus. You have ultraviolet, you have infrared. The color spectrum is a very defined spectrum, but it's extremely small because you also have colors that are within the X-ray spectrum and the microwave spectrum. You have the radio spectrum, radio frequencies. There's a lot of information that is available around us that we may or may not be able to process, perceive what is. And we can define it logically, and it's really good to meet life from a just acknowledgement of what it is. This 3D reality is extremely logical. A, B, C come after B, D come after C, usually. 3 comes after 2 and 2 comes after 1. 1, 2, 3. It's a very progressive, understandable universe. But that's only the third dimension. But when we're in the third dimension, just be logical, Just acknowledge with logic, this is what is. And this becomes easy when you begin to uninstall triggers, when you begin to release programs that are reactions of emotional upset, When you can have this first area of meeting life where you're like, this is what is. Now, before you just react emotionally, you begin to say, this is what is. It's neither good or bad. It is what it is. If it's good or bad, it's up to you. So how would you continue the story of the Chinese farmer, his son, and the horse, and the Chinese army? Well, if you were to ask me, I would say something like, the Chinese boy is now home and all of his friends are in battle. And this really is a terrible situation for him. He starts to experiment with different type of psychedelic substances, like the spectacular rustbane or psilocybin mushrooms. He starts to drink from time to time, perhaps smoke whatever herb they had in ancient China, and he becomes literally a depressed addict. And all of the villagers come and look at this man's son, the Chinese farmer's son, and they say, wow, your son is such a terrible loser. He is depressed, he is self-torturing himself. What a terrible scenario. And the Chinese farmer would respond, not react, oh, yes, he's a terrible son. Oh my God, what should I do? How can this situation become any less good? Anyway, the Chinese farmer does not react, he responds and acknowledges what is. Yeah, he's doing that, he's doing this. It may be good. What are you telling me? Is it maybe good? That doesn't make sense. Well, the truth is, it is what it is. That may be judged as good, or it may be judged as bad. Time will tell. Because you see, what's happening over time is usually a result of all the accumulated perspectives. When a person, it says that you are the average of your 5 best friends. So if your 5 breast friends, hey, do you have some breast friends? Anyway, your 5 best friends, Freudian slip, perfect, I'm a man. I'm just joking here. Well, I am actually. The fact is, I am a man. Am I joking? Maybe, maybe not. But the truth is that you become the average of your 5 best friends is a saying. It's not a truth, it's a perspective, but it is a nice way of looking at it. So if your 5 best friends point to you and they say, you're amazing, I freaking love you, you're such a beautiful being, are you kidding me? Everyone loves you. You are such a kind-hearted spirit. You're just beautiful. I can see who you are and I love you. If your 5 best friends say that, you know, you are increasing your likelihood of being that. This is proven through studies of teachers and their students. The students and the children in school who are looked at as the black sheep, or as the, you know, recluse, the naughty boy, the naughty girl, they usually underperform just because they are filling a role, they are playing a part that is called the loser, or the rebellious kid, you know? And it has been proven that if the teachers, the people of authority, which would include friends, look at you and begin to see you in a way that benefits you, begins to call forth what is good within you, then you will actually have a much more likely positive response and become more of what you see, what people see in you. This is called appreciation. What you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate appreciates. What you put, wherever energy flows, attention goes and results show. I think that's T. Harv Eker or something who said that. Your focus is amazing. The way you focus is the key. So, make sure you have friends that look at you in a beautiful way. It will help you. But when you don't, just take care of yourself and love others. You know, people don't necessarily know what to think of you because they have so much baggage and trouble with themselves. Let them. Accept it. It may be good, it may not be. Everything has some good result if you choose that result. So if people are miserable around me, if my entire family and world is pointing to me and saying, you are not healthy, you are not vibrantly, dynamically healthy, filled with vitality and vim and vigor, you're definitely not that, Theo. If they point their finger at me and say that, in the past I would get sad. I would get stressed, actually, to be honest. Now I could still become a little bit stressed, not nearly as much as a couple of years ago. But the good scenario is that this gives me an opportunity to carry the torch of love, the torch of appreciation, the fakir, the torch, you know? So I can develop from my friends and family, beautiful people, appreciative, loving people, by pouring love over them, even when they do not connect fully with their own love for me. In Norway, we have the word for, you know, to develop an image. If you take a photography, or whatever the sound is, you go into the dark room to develop the photo. In Norway, that process is called, oh wow, fremkalle. There we go, thank you. From Norwegian to English, take some time, brain. You fremkaller bilder. You call forth pictures. Frem, like forth, kalle, call. So it's like calling forth the image. You fremkaller the image. Interesting, huh? Sounds like you actually have power and ability, which you do. That's why what you appreciate appreciates. What you call forth is coming forth. Next step of this Chinese story, now that we have splashed around in the dark perception of this poor son swimming around in drugs and narcotics and wasting his life into depressiveness, and the father being like, well, you know, it is what it is. It may be good, it may be bad. Time will tell. So what's the next step here? Oh, can you imagine the next step? Oh, it's almost as if there's a yin-yang pulse of the universe, a magnetic negative, positive, negative, positive polarity play. Oh, I'm doing this just to kind of trigger an amazing response in you. But many of you will probably have resistance to it because it's not normal for an adult to speak the childish language of emotion. Many of you hopefully are beginning to get acquainted with it if you're listening to a video up to this point. So I'm going to end this video now with the last story of this Chinese farmer, which is the son has gone into a deep depression and empathized amazingly with his friends who are in war. It started out as a very painful way of, oh, what if my friends are lost? I can't talk with my friends, poor me, and trying to distract himself with drugs. But what he finds in that is that he loves his friends. And he emerges from the darkness as a new found person. He has found a version of himself that could survive deep depression, fear and helplessness, you know, because he had to pick himself up. His father wouldn't do it. He would just look and say, well, this may be good for you or it may be bad. It's up to you. Good father, huh? That is the masculine, divine masculine. So he picks himself up after time and time of failing. Finally he gets a grip of it, and now he has become a poet. He has become a philosopher. He has become a magician, one of the people who are an energetic alchemist, almost like a shaman of this society. And now all the friends return from war. Some have died, some have amazing experiences, and some have had deeply traumatic experiences. And as they come back to the village, this farmer's son is now prepared to help them. Almost like an ancient type of psychologist. He will sit down with them, give them their medicine if they need it, prepare them for how to use the medicine, and will teach them and guide them through the darkest of the darkest of the darkest memories, traumas, and stuff they tried to run away from, fear. Pretty soon, the people of the village they find home where they are. They begin to process the traumas of war. And all the villagers, including the people who had traumas and are now healthy, fresh, good, wonderful, they come to the village father, almost, the Chinese farmer and his son and the horses, and say, wow, what an amazing scenario. This is such a good scenario. And the son and the father will say, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Time will tell. You will tell. It is up to you. Get this, and you will have a lifelong time of fun because you get to decide your perspective, but not only that, peace, because you are rooted in reality. You will see things more clearly than anyone who says it's good, it's bad. You will see things clearly. Even though people shout from the mountaintops, even though people worry their ass off, even though people celebrate to extinction, you will stand stable in your own knowingness of your own ability to respond, because you are responsible now. Good luck. I hope you got something out of this. My name is Theo Flove, and I am freaking awesome, yo. And I hope you feel the same about yourself, because I am a walking example of someone who loves themselves, and I hope it rubs off more than anything. I hope it's like a firecracker. It explodes everywhere around me like fireworks. Yeah. Love you. Have a good day.